This is an iHeart podcast.
Pure Talk, my wireless company, a veteran-led company, is on a mission to give an allegiance flag, which is the highest quality American flag, to 1,000 veterans in time for the patriotic holidays. Now, switch your cell phone service to Pure Talk this month, and a portion of every sale will go to providing these high-quality flags to deserving veterans. With a cell phone plan at just $25 a month, well, what are you waiting for? Go to puretalk.com/Sean, S-E-A-N, to support veterans simply by switching to Pure Talk.
Trump country is booming. We're building, hiring, and winning in America. Because energy tax credits create jobs and put America first.
Jobs and factories will come roaring back into our country. More production at home will mean stronger competition and lower prices for consumers.
And America's comeback depends on American energy. President Trump, keep what works. Don't repeal energy tax credits. Learn more at builtforamerica.us. Paid for by Built for America.
All right, thanks, Scott Shannon. Hour 2, Sean Hannity Show, toll free. It is 800-941-SEAN if you want to be a part of the program. In a minute, we're going to head to the ground, a bird's eye view of what's been happening to Tel Aviv. Amazing to watch. The majority of Democrats are siding with the radical, virulent squad as represented by Congresswoman Omar. Listen to her comments.
To be coming out of our country. I mean, I grew up in a dictatorship, and I don't even remember ever witnessing anything like that. To have a democracy, a beacon of hope for the world, to now be turned into one of the worst countries where the military are in our streets without any regard for people's constitutional rights. While our president is spending millions of dollars propping himself up like a failed dictator with a military parade, it is really shocking, and it should be a wake-up call for all Americans to say this is not the country we were born in. This is not the country we believe in. This is not the country our founding fathers imagined. And this is not the country that is supported by our Constitution, our ideals, our values. And we should all collectively be out in the streets rejecting what is taking place this week.
That is Congresswoman Omar. That is the virulent and anti-Semitic wing of the Democratic Party. And those that are not a part of it, their silence has been deafening. The only voice that has been outspoken in support of Israel has been Pennsylvania Senator, Democrat John Fetterman. Here's what he has said.
Now, you say show no mercy, and if you have to take the supreme leader out, do it. Explain your position now, sir.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think they should have targeted him. Absolutely taken him out. I think the way Israel operates, they just take out the leadership just like they did with Hezbollah. And they've already done that with the Iranian leadership. Just took them out even laying in their beds. And they didn't take down the whole building. They actually targeted where they lay in bed. And now they eliminated the military ones and the nuclear ones. That's magnificent. And the precision which they've done that. And I don't know why they would have left the leader out.
All right, joining us now is Roy Katz. He is a journalist, TV and radio host in Israel. He's been in Tel Aviv as they have been, witnessing and living through an onslaught of Iranian ballistic missiles. We became friendly with Roy when we were in Israel a couple of times. We broadcast from FM 102 out of Tel Aviv. And more importantly, they actually facilitated my ability from the United States to host a separate radio show, separate and apart from this one, just for the people in Israel. And Roy has been on the ground from day one, and he has been pointing out the Iranian stock exchange has been suspended. In Israel, on the other hand, the stock exchange continues to operate. And the profound differences between the Israeli economy and that of the Iranian economy. And the most amazing thing with Israel controlling the skies over the entire landmass of Iran. Anyway, Roy, great to have you back. I wish under better circumstances. Our prayers are with you and the people of Israel. But this is a fight that has been a long time coming. I've been asking people on this radio show, how many missiles would it take fired into the United States at any small town or big city by an enemy, an outside adversary, before you would expect your military to fiercely defend your country and win that conflict and win that war? Now, since the times I've been through Israel, there have been hundreds of thousands of missiles that have been fired into Israel. And, of course, what happened on October 7th. So this has been a long time coming. They have been fomenting terror. Hamas, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, the Houthi rebels. Then you have the Syrian militia, the Iraqi militia, and now firing ballistic missiles for the third time themselves. How are things on the ground?
Well, first of all, thank you, Sean. It is great to talk with you again. I appreciate you giving me this platform to share the reality of what's happening in Tel Aviv and across Israel. You know, Israeli families are becoming just experts in sprinting to underground shelters in their pajamas. It's evening here in Tel Aviv. This is really our new normal for the last couple of days. Israeli kids are, they're learning to count. Sirens, they mean 90 seconds to shelter. No child should have that kind of mass homeworks. And, civilians killed by ballistic missiles in their own neighborhoods. And this is what happens when a terrorist regime targets civilian areas, instead of military sites. And that's a regime that openly calls for wiping Israel off the map while building nuclear weapons. And that isn't seeking peace. They are preparing genocide for us. And it's quite scary, I must admit.
Well, the people of Israel are resilient. Thank God. I mean, unfortunately, Israel has had to build out a bunker system that has prevented a far greater loss of life. The Israelis now have taken out two of the three big nuclear sites inside of Iran. Now there is a debate whether or not there'll be a joint operation between the United States and Israel, and the U.S. would provide the bunker buster bombs and probably the B-52s to take that last facility out. The president has been steadfast. He has been unambiguous. He has been clear that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and so at the end of this process, at a minimum, the Iranians won't have a nuclear weapon. Now, at that point, probably the United States' role will be defending their troops in the region, their interest in the region, helping Israel defend against any missile attacks, which we've been doing and will continue to do. But then the Israelis are going to have to make a choice. They could wipe out their entire gas electric grid. That's separate and apart from their refineries. The no electric power and no source of income would absolutely devastate the regime. Your thoughts?
No, Sean, I heard your monologue the other day saying Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, period. And that's the end of the sentence. Now, the U.S. has the bunker-busting bombs that can reach Iran's deep underground nuclear facilities. And Israel needs American firepower to finish this job, I think. And I want to say one more thing. I think America's choice is quite simple, because helping Israel destroy Iran's nuclear program now, or facing a nuclear-armed Iran threatening American cities later. Now, every day America waits to join this fight is another day. I think Iran is getting closer to putting nuclear warheads on missiles aimed at New York City. Now, I know there is a big argument in the States. I know there is a big argument even in the...
It's really not that big. The poll came out today by two of our favorite pollsters. They nailed the 2016, 2020, and 2024 election, and it was overwhelming and it was incontrovertible that the question was, what is your opinion of President Trump's position that Iran must be prevented from developing a nuclear weapon by any means necessary? 74% to 23% favor the president taking that side out. The president clearly, by warning Tehran and the citizens of Tehran to get out, I think is sending a clear message, a lot like Israel. We care about human life, unlike the Iranians. But it seems imminent to me.
I'm happy to hear it. I mean, what we see on media is an argument between, both parties in the States and within the GOP, but I'm happy to hear your answer. Now, when we're talking politics, I want to mention one more thing. When I see Israel's harshest opposition leaders stand with the government on this war, you know that the threat is real. Politics stops at survival, and our opposition parties fight the government, fight Netanyahu on everything, but except when it comes to preventing a second Holocaust. Now, left-wing politicians who've spent years criticizing Prime Minister Netanyahu are now saying, we support this operation, and that tells you and that tells the audience everything about Iran's danger, because opposition leaders in Israel are telling their supporters, we'll resume fighting Netanyahu after we finish fighting Iran's nuclear program. And that tells a lot, because, in a democracy where politicians argue about everything, we see here in Israel almost unanimous support for this operation, and that speaks louder, I think, than any intelligence briefing.
All right, quick break. We'll come back more with Roy Katz. He's a friend of ours, journalist, TV, radio host. He's in Tel Aviv. He's spending a lot of his time, unfortunately, like everybody in Tel Aviv, in bomb shelters. We'll continue to get his firsthand look what's going on the ground in Tel Aviv as we continue. 800-941-SEAN is our number. We'll also get to your calls coming up straight ahead.
The radio show the mainstream media loves to hate. This is the Sean Hannity Show.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. I've been buying precious metals. Somebody gave me great advice. I'm so grateful every day that I did, and I've been doing it for decades. Every paycheck I get, no matter what, I put aside a portion of money to diversify into precious metals. Now, especially during uncertain times. Remember the 2008 financial crisis. Who do I choose to make my gold and silver purchases with? What company do I now use? Who do I trust? Well, I've been partnering with a great company for 3 years. I am a customer. The company's called Gold Co. Gold Co. will send you right now a free 2025 gold and silver kit to learn more about diversifying with precious metals. Now, this kit from Gold Co. has been a huge help to me. I think you'll learn a valuable lesson. You'll also learn about their unlimited bonus silver offer. Now, you're not going to want to miss out. All you have to do is call, no obligation, 855-815-GOLD, or just go to HannityGold.com. That's 855-815-GOLD, or go to the website HannityGold.com. We continue now. Roy Katz is with us, a friend of the program. He's a journalist, TV, radio host. He's in Tel Aviv. We continue with Roy Katz now. What is it like when the sirens are going off and people are rushing down into underground bunkers, and you see the incredible success? The IDF says they're about 95% successful in preventing these ballistic missiles that are more powerful than ever, which I think needs to be pointed out, that they have been building up. I call it their plan B, which is to try and overwhelm the Iron Dome that Israel has used so successfully over the years. But yet 5% of those missiles are hitting some targets. The death toll is much, much lower than it would otherwise be had Israel not been always preparing for this inevitable moment, knowing the hostilities that surround it. But many, many lives have been saved because the Israelis have rightly prepared for what was obviously becoming an inevitable conflict, on top of the fact that I think it's one of the most incredible military operations, going back to the pager incident, going back to taking out the top leaders of Hamas and Hezbollah and Nasrallah, and then getting deep inside, penetrating within the territories of Iran with the Mossad, and having, these drones take out the scientists and military leaders and other sites. I mean, it has been spectacular to watch. I would argue, Roy, that this is going to be studied for the next 200 years.
Oh, I totally agree with that. And we started at a very low point. On October 7th, the incursion by Hamas, they slaughter us in beds, raped women, and killed children. A year and 9 months later, we control the air over Tehran. It's significant. I want to share with you, when the sirens goes off here 2 or 3 times at night, I admit it's scary. I grab my kid, I grab my wife. We have 90 minutes to go into the bomb shelter. I'm not going to lie to you, Sean. It is scary. But we know that we are not fighting for territory. We are not fighting for resources. We are fighting against a regime that has made our destruction their religious mission. And, the choice for us is quite simple. Stop the nuclear weapons program now, or explain to future generations, not only in Israel, why we let these genocidal terrorists get the A-bomb.
Well, they can't, and they won't. And, the world will, in the 80s when Israel took out the Iraqi sites, there was worldwide condemnation. You did the world the favor. When they took out Syrian sites that got very little fanfare and they flew below their radar detection systems, it was an incredible military operation. What is going on here is a necessity. And the difference now is there's an American president that has the moral clarity to understand that Iran can never have nuclear weapons, and they won't have nuclear weapons. And that will prevent the possibility of a modern day Holocaust. That is as simple, basic, fundamental common sense as you can ever expect. Roy, our prayers are with you. Our prayers are with the people of Israel, the prime minister, and Godspeed in your mission. This is going to be, the world will be a safer place as a result of all of this. And although no mission is without risk, and we pray for everyone's safety. Pure Talk, my wireless company, a veteran-owned company, believes every man, every woman who has faithfully served this country deserves to proudly fly an American flag that was made in America. And that's why Pure Talk is on a mission to give an allegiance flag, the highest quality American flag made in Charleston, South Carolina, to 1,000 veterans in time for these patriotic holidays. Just switch your cell phone service to Pure Talk. Do it this month, and a portion of every sale will go to provide these high-quality flags hand-sewn to the deserving vets. Now, with plans starting at just $25 a month for unlimited talk and text and plenty of data, you can enjoy America's most dependable 5G network, all while cutting your cell phone bill in half. Average family saves over $1,000 a year. So go to puretalk.com/Sean, S-E-A-N. Pure Talk's customer service will make the switch. Again, that's puretalk.com/Sean, S-E-A-N. Support our veterans and switch to America's wireless company, Pure Talk.
This July 4th, celebrate freedom from spills, stains, and overpriced furniture with Annabay, the only machine-washable sofa inside and out, where designer quality meets budget-friendly pricing. Sofas start at just $699, making it the perfect time to upgrade your space. Annabay's pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and interchangeable slipcovers are made with high-performance fabric that's built for real life. You'll love the cloud-like comfort of hypoallergenic, high-resilience foam that never needs fluffing, and a durable steel frame that stands the test of time. With modular pieces, you can rearrange anytime. It's a sofa that adapts to your life. Now through July 4th, get up to 60% off site-wide at washablesofas.com. Every order comes with a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. If you're not in love, send it back for a full refund. No return shipping, no restocking fees, every penny back. Declare independence from dirty, outdated furniture. Shop now at washablesofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
In the book of Genesis, God makes a promise to your offspring. I promise this land. Now, that promise is the foundation of Israel, a land the Jewish people have returned to after centuries of exile and bondage and even the horrors of the Holocaust. But that promise is still under threat, especially after October 7th. Now, Israel's safety today depends on the very brave men and women of the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces. Every citizen is required to serve. Your gift of $45 will help provide aid to soldiers and their families by helping to provide food and other bare necessities for these families and emergency supplies for soldiers. Now you can help secure their future, honor those who are defending the Holy Land. Call now, 888-488-IFCJ. That's 888-488-IFCJ. Or just go to their website. It's ifcj.org, and you can give today. They are in desperate need of help. Hey, Sean Hannity here. You know, I've been buying precious metals. Somebody gave me great advice. I'm so grateful every day that I did, and I've been doing it for decades. Every paycheck I get, no matter what, I put aside a portion of money to diversify into precious metals. Now, especially during uncertain times. Remember the 2008 financial crisis. Who do I choose to make my gold and silver purchases with? What company do I now use? Who do I trust? Well, I've been partnering with a great company for 3 years. I am a customer. The company's called Gold Co. Gold Co. will send you right now a free 2025 gold and silver kit to learn more about diversifying with precious metals. Now, this kit from Gold Co. has been a huge help to me. I think you'll learn a valuable lesson. You'll also learn about their unlimited bonus silver offer. Now, you're not going to want to miss out. All you have to do is call, no obligation, 855-815-GOLD, or just go to HannityGold.com. That's 855-815-GOLD, or go to the website, HannityGold.com. All right, let us go to our busy telephones. Mike in Tennessee. Mike, hi, how are you? Glad you called.
Hey, Sean, it's an honor to get to talk to you. I've been in public service for over 30 years, and after 9/11, we were getting intel when I was a firefighter, and we were being told to watch out for our fire trucks and buses and vehicles like that. Don't leave them unattended because that's something that could easily be stolen and used against us. And you talk about missiles being shot into Israel and how many would it take to come against America for us to get upset. Recently, we've had a couple of ships hit bridges on our coasts. How easy would it be when you see hundreds of containers on a single ship to hide a nuclear warhead in one of those, and you don't even need it tied to a missile. So for them to have any nuclear capabilities, whether they say it's for peace or whatever it is, it doesn't have to be attached to a nuclear warhead like it does in Israel. It would be so much easier because of all the groups that have been let into our country recently. If they're sleeper cells, they could be just waiting for the right time. You bring it over on a ship, you let it set for a while, or on a train or on a plane, or use a Ryder truck or something like that. And that would be the easiest way to get back at the U.S. or cause terrorism in the U.S.
Here's the problem. They're already here.
Yeah,
we have Iranian assassination squads already in the country, and people saying, "Well, we're going to make them mad, and we're going to trigger a internal response in the country." That response is coming anyway, and you can blame Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Alejandro Mayorkas, and every complicit Democrat that either lied or, remained silent with their open borders policies that allowed anywhere from 12 to 20 million unvetted illegals from over 200 countries into our country, including known terrorists and assassination squads and murderers, rapists, other violent criminals and cartel members and gang members and drug dealers. I don't know what to say. I've been saying it now forever. It's a matter of when, not a matter of if. That's going to happen one way or the other, regardless of what the U.S. does or doesn't do inside of Iran.
Exactly, and it's so much easier if you've already got the sleeper cells here. All you got to do is deliver the package later on.
Well, they may already have the package. That's the scary part too.
Yeah, could be.
And this is the greatest, most preventable national security threat in our nation's history. And we will suffer because of their stupidity and their lying and their ignorance and their open borders madness for well over a decade to come. And every person that is murdered and raped and victim of a violent crime, any terrorist act on our soil, the blood is on their hands. They did this. They created this vulnerability. Just like they allowed the Iranians to get rich by turning a blind eye towards the sanctions that Donald Trump had in place that were bankrupting them. Europe, I blame them in large part for allowing Putin to get rich by doing billion-dollar energy deals with, the murdering dictator thug that he is. And you know what? All they did was fund both countries' war machines and their terror regimes. It's sad, and it was preventable.
Iran has enough natural resources that they can do all the electricity that they need, including oil, and use those to create their power. They do not need any type of a nuclear capability to create power or anything like that. They already have enough natural resources to go that route.
They don't need a civilian nuclear program. They're an energy, oil-rich, gas-rich country. They don't need any of it. You know, and that's the end of that. Mike in Tennessee, good call, my friend. 800-941-SEAN, our number if you want to be a part of the program. Billy, my free state of Florida. Billy, how are you? Glad you called.
Sean, great. Thank you for taking my call. Pleasure to talk to you. My question is I'm sure it's been looked at, but so clearly whatever's going on with the Iranians, maybe not even the population, but the people that are running the show over there, they just want certain groups of people to die. And then I don't know if they've got a plan for if they were to accomplish that, to take that over. But these nuclear...
Well, we know what they say. You got to believe them. Death to Israel, death to America. So we know they're number one and number two targets, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. So then if they were able to accomplish, thank God we were going to stop it, making these nuclear weapons, and they used them, and then they would force a retaliation. Where's China and Russia? And you know so much about this lifetime you've spent in these politics and up close, being trusted by all of the people that are making the calls. Do you have any insight on, because they're neighbors to those countries on the same continent, and what's going to end up happening is, heaven forbid this goes down, the planet's not going to be inhabitable. And are they satisfied with all of the contingency plans we'll just go ahead and start over with populations? I mean, that's what scares me the most. As far as the people living in our country, snuck over here, we can go door to door and start fixing those people. But the property that they bought up around military installations and power plants and whatnot. But that concerns me about, they're going to wipe the world out. And are they already considering we're just going to go ahead and start over? I don't think the Iranians have thought that far, but I know heaven forbid, the U.S. has, I'm sure Russia has, and China, and probably North Korea has. So if you've got any insight on that, that'd be great, sir.
Yeah, let me tell you right now, it is imperative that we get this situation resolved, and we've got to remove and find as many of these criminals in this country. I don't know if we can do it completely and fully, but we've got to try. And they're trying their heart out, and you see what the left is doing. They're going to bat for the Abrego Garcias of the world. In Los Angeles, you got Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom advocating, even though they're finding murderers and child molesters and other violent criminals and gang members and drug dealers, and they're mad at Donald Trump for enforcing the laws of our land. It's insane. This party has gone off the deep end, crazy. Anyway, my friend, I appreciate you being with us. Quick break. We're right back to our busy phones. Toll free. It is 800-941-SEAN as we continue.
Sean's got more behind-the-scenes information, more contacts than anybody, more friends behind the curtain. Sean Hannity is on.
Back to our busy phones. 800-941-SEAN is our number. Let's say hi to Monica in Texas. God bless Texas. Monica, how are you?
Hey, Sean. Thanks for taking my call. I have a question, and it is about the oath of office that our senators and congressmen take. They take an oath to support the Constitution and protect us against enemies, foreign and domestic. But they are fully behind all of the domestic enemies that we have that are just causing mayhem in the country. So I've done some research, but what I can't find is what the consequences are when they break their oath. Do you happen to know that?
Yeah, well, you're saying that the Democrats, look, they're entitled to their opinion. There's a lot of opinions. I have mostly stayed out of, the ridiculous back and forth and the idiotic arguments of the left and others, because it's just a colossal waste of time. If you don't understand the clear and present danger and existential threat that Iran poses as the number one state sponsor of terror that has been fomenting terror and death, a culture of death in the region and for the world, and them on the precipice of a nuclear weapon. I believe in the Trump doctrine. And the Trump doctrine is Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. And no, I don't believe in forever wars either. But I've been telling everybody modern weaponry has changed warfare forever. And I've been saying future wars. Now, you're going to need boots on the ground on some occasions, but not in this case. We can take out their nuclear sites and Donald Trump will have accomplished his mission. And then it's going to be an issue of, finding the terrorists that Biden, Mayorkas, and Harris led into the country that are here, and finding those people that are sympathetic towards them before they attack us and protect our troops in the region. I view that and help Israel as this onslaught to destroy them continues, because it's not easy to, shoot all these ballistic missiles out of the sky.
Agreed. I was actually talking about all of the illegal aliens that they allowed to just come into our country without being vetted.
They've been aiding and abetting in law breaking, and they've created the biggest national security disaster, preventable national security disaster in the history of the country. And they lied about it for 4 long years. And they told you not to believe what your eyes were showing you. And that's why legacy media is dead. And that's why the Democratic Party still clings to this like manna from heaven. It's an 85-15 issue. Americans want their borders secure. They want their towns safe and secure. They want to live free and not have to worry about any of this. And the government's role, number one role, is to protect its citizenry. And under Joe and Kamala and Mayorkas, they have failed spectacularly. And the Democrats have been complicit. They lied to us along with them, or they remained silent, knowing that the truth was it was a dangerous situation.
Well, to me, silence is acceptance of what's happening and what they're allowing to happen. I don't understand how there is no consequence or penalty for them taking an oath to protect America, and they're completely against America.
It's unbelievable. But they are destroying themselves in the process. And the media that also was complicit in the lie, they never told the truth about what was happening at the borders. They're just as guilty. And that's why Americans ignored them in the lead up to November 5th, because they threw everything they had in their arsenal to destroy Donald Trump. And they were nothing but an extension of every Democratic, sinister plot to ruin this man, lawfare, and you name it. They've done everything to smear, slander, call him every name in the book: Hitler, Stalin, Mussolini, Nazi, fascist, racist. He's a convict. It didn't matter, but nobody listened. That is what's significant. The American people are sophisticated and smart. They got it. They understood it, and they saw the failure, and they made the right choice. America made the right choice. That's why the 26th election, I know it's early. I know we have other pressing issues. It's imperative because they'll want to impeach him 100 more times.
This is an iHeart podcast.